why don't we start with a short introduction? Do you want to introduce yourself and maybe either your background or where you're working at right now?
Yeah, sure. So I am originally from the Canadian province of Saskatchewan. I completed my bachelor's degree in resource economics and policy at the University of Saskatchewan in Saskatoon. And after that, I went straight to Vancouver to start the MFRE program in the fall of 2017. So as a student, I was always really interested in research, particularly in the area of environmental economics. So naturally, MFRE was a really good fit in that there are plenty of course options offered in that area. And in terms of work, my background is fairly limited given that I just graduated in 2018, but since then I've managed to gain some experience with a few different federal government departments. So first, I actually did my graduating project with the Research and Analysis Directorate at Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada, where I worked on a project for the Environmental Analysis Research Unit. And after my project, they wound up extending my contract and it eventually offered me a permanent job. So I worked there until this past September, when I joined Employment and Social Development Canada for a one-year assignment. So that's where I currently am right now. I'm also a deemed employee, as they call it, at Statistics Canada, which allows me to go on site there and access business and household microdata for research purposes. So yeah, it's kind of weird. I guess I'm employed in some capacity at 3 separate departments right now, but yeah, my home department is Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada. I'm on assignment at Employment and Social Development Canada, and I have a research contract at Statistics Canada for data access purposes only.
That is very dynamic and diverse and really great to see you, 2 years after graduating and working on all these, being part of all these teams and working on different priorities. It's really cool. And the other question I have is just around how MFRE has helped, contribute to your path now. I know that you mentioned it was your graduating project, but are there any other things in terms of skills, professional or technical skills that may have helped you in terms of where you are right now?
Yeah, absolutely. I would have to say probably first and foremost, just the overall quality of education. I mean, the diverse array of courses offered, the quality and diverse backgrounds of the instructors and professors, the small class sizes, the interesting seminars. And like, not only is it an opportunity for quality education, but students also have a lot of flexibility in terms of the skills that they want to develop in the process. So you can learn about theory, empirical analysis, financial analysis, and commodity trading, policy evaluation, all kinds of stuff. Like I said earlier, for me, I was always interested in research. And in MFRE, I was able to focus on, building the theoretical and empirical skills that are necessary in order to be a good researcher. And I mean, obviously you never stop learning, but I think I could safely attribute a lot of what I've been able to accomplish in the last couple of years to everything that I learned in MFRE, both in terms of being able to find meaningful employment in the first place, but also in terms of being equipped with the necessary skills and the confidence to actually make contributions to the groups that I've been with doing research in the government.
Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, I mean, one other big thing that I would have to highlight is just like the strong and diverse networks of the faculty and the program in general. Like you guys have mentioned, there's numerous ties to the public sector, private sector, and academic circles. So regardless of your interests and goals, in addition to equipping you with the relevant skills that you need to succeed in those areas, it also gives you access to the relevant networks that you need to find a graduating project that's right for you, and also when you're done school.
Great. There you go, guys. You heard it straight from Nathan. So I will stop the formal, interview-ish process with Nathan now, but we do invite our attendees to ask questions through the Q&A. Nathan will stay with us for a few more minutes and answer any questions you have specifically for him. Myself, Gabby, Killeen, we will stay here to answer other questions related to the program. So yes, be curious to hear what questions there are for you, Nathan. The last 2 sessions, there were quite a bit of questions for the alumni.
I'm going to start actually with a quick question to Nathan. Nathan, really nice to see you again. Nice to see a fellow Saskatchewan do so well, of course. Saskatchewanian, is that what we call ourselves? Can you tell us a
Saskatchewanian, I
little,
guess.
yeah, can you tell us a little bit about the kind of work that you're doing? Either the current agency that you're doing, like labor market and skills, or back in agriculture and agri-food Canada, like is it data or is it, what kind of stuff are you doing with them? Just curious
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, I could give a quick overview of both. So
Sure,
currently
thank you.
I'm a researcher with the Labor Market and Skills Research Division at Employment and Social Development Canada. So ESDC as a department, I guess their work in a nutshell is aimed at, I think the website will probably tell you, at promoting like an inclusive, skilled and efficient labor market. So that's very high level information, but for my team.
That's very good. Well done.
Yeah. My team's primary responsibilities include the Canadian Occupational Projection System. So it's a series of models that are used to project the supply and demand of labor and identify potential labor market shortages and surpluses. We're also responsible for all things labor force survey related, which provides national estimates for employment and unemployment. It's our primary source of data for most of our research and analysis, and we're also responsible for preparing briefing material on the day of release every month. So yeah, LFS release days are always very fast-paced and hectic. And yeah, we provide analytical support for employment insurance programming, which is very interesting these days for obvious reasons. And then for me in particular, my main project is kind of a post-mortem of the COVID pandemic, both in terms of its impact on labor market structure and also the use of different labor market adjustment programs that have been put in place to alleviate the impact on businesses and employees. And yeah, so relative to my team at AAFC, the Environmental Analysis Research Unit there, obviously same kind of nature of work, very research oriented, so same, approaches and methods, but obviously a very different context, labor market analysis as opposed to environmental analysis. But yeah, I think that's kind of a testament and to, UBC kind of, or MFRE provides you with, skills that are applicable to numerous contexts within, the realm of economics and business. So yeah.
Good. Thank you. That's very interesting. You're in the thick of it, right? Testing those things with the COVID net. That's great.
Yeah.
Great. Gabby, you said you had some questions either for Nathan or for the rest of us. So I'll let you take them.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Nathan. We have a few questions for you already. So the first one, what made you choose MFRE over other master programs?
A lot of things, I would say. I mean, it was my first choice. So I mean, I guess I didn't have to scrutinize it too difficult. As soon as I was admitted, yeah, I was happy to accept the offer. But I mean, I guess my interest in environmental economics is kind of what made me, I did actively pursue something outside of your typical like MA in economics. Because I was particularly interested in environment and resource economics, and I wanted to, be able to focus on that in, to a further extent than I would be able to in a traditional MA economics program, if, that program was out there and I found out about MFRE. So yeah, it seemed like a perfect fit in that sense. And then obviously, UBC is an amazing school, great reputation, Vancouver, equivalently so. So yeah, it was a pretty easy decision in that sense. But yeah, I think what, initially kind of sent me down that path and appealed to me was the opportunity to specialize in environmental economics at the graduate.
Okay, there's another question. I think you answered a bit. So why a professional master instead of a research master? You already touched base a bit on that, but did you ever consider an environmental economics master elsewhere, or really UBC was your?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like that side of like an MA in economics appeals to me a lot because as you know by now, I'm very interested in research and I always have been. So but at the same time, like I still wanted to, have that, yeah, I guess extra element of specialization. And yeah, MFRE kind of checked all the boxes in that I could specialize as such. And I could also, you know, kind of go the more research route as the program permits. You know, there's obviously a lot of opportunities for those who aren't as interested in research, given that it is a professional master's. But yeah, I think that's, you know, one of the best parts of the program is that you have the option to either, you know, develop all the skills you need to be a great researcher, or develop all the skills that you need to, you know, be, you know, a great labor market entrant in the private sector if you want to, or yeah, in consulting or whatever it may be that you're interested in.
I kind of remember the courses you chose, but can you tell a bit to the potential students which classes you chose in the second term?
Yes, yeah, I do. It was very busy. But yeah, so I wanted to obviously, you know, take all of the like empirical analysis, econometrics courses, as you know, that's obviously very important in terms of, you know, research methods. So yeah, I took, and MFRE is great in that sense, especially in that it offers a time series class, which you know, a lot of my buddies who did a traditional MA in economics are very envious of that. Most MA in economics, they don't offer time series courses. So that was great. Yeah, and I guess that alone, you could fill up a lot of your schedule with just kind of econometrics and empirical analysis courses if you wanted to. So I took all of those. That probably was about half of my course load. And then outside of that, the environment theory course offered by and the course after that, which is kind of an empirical analysis course, but you know, focused on environmental themes, and also the fisheries course. And I don't know, the course's name may have changed, but kind of the development economics, I think it was called impact evaluation at the time, but yeah, which gave me, you know, an opportunity to gain some exposure to, you know,
okay, great.
Developing countries and the dynamics associated with that. Yeah.
Good set of choices.
Thank you. Okay, we have another question for you. What has been the biggest challenge you have faced in your job?
I think probably something, you know, that's like inescapable, regardless of, you know, how good of a fit it is the context specific side of things, I guess. So even though, you know, from a general perspective, you might think, oh, like Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada in the environmental analysis research unit, like it couldn't be more of a perfect fit than that. But at the same time, even though, you know, I had a lot of background and training in environmental economics, the context specific elements of my job, like, you know, all of the dynamics that are specific to the agriculture sector and the implications that would have for my research. Sometimes it's difficult to draw those connections at first. And, you know, it's been kind of the same situation since I switched departments. So now I'm outside of that agriculture bubble and now in a labor market and employment bubble where, you know, the dynamics are very different. And even just the fact, you know, we don't have like an industry stakeholder that we're answering to here at Employment and Social Development Canada, which added, you know, which is a very interesting element back at AAFC, the dynamics associated with, yeah, working with a huge industry stakeholder in Canada, obviously. But yeah, that was kind of a challenge for me. It was just the context specific side of things. And, you know, because obviously being a good researcher is one thing, but being able to, you know, apply it to different contexts and, you know, the implications that has for interpreting results and so on and so forth, and how you should approach certain questions is, yeah, a pretty big learning curve at first, regardless of, you know, how well you think you're prepared for a job in terms of the skills that you have. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's it for the questions for you for now, but I'll repeat what Janelle said. It's a pleasure to hear how well you're doing so quickly after graduation. And it's always nice to hear from you, Nathan.
Awesome. You guys too. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. You're doing so great in the job market, and I can tell such a good professional demeanor. More and more professional all the time. That's great. It's great to hear that you are using your MFRE skills to that sort of level. Great contributions, both in agriculture and the labor market. Well done.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, Nathan, we'll let you go, and thank you again for your time.
Thank you, Nathan. See you
Absolutely.
later. Probably dinner
care,
time for
everyone.
you, so enjoy.
Yeah. Thanks. Hey,
Thank
take
you.
care.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.